So, do you believe that you've got a force inside of you that's so great you can create and have anything that you desire? Well, I do believe that this to be true. I do believe that we have a power within us that we can create a reality for ourselves that is all of our heart's desire. A version of the world that gives us joy and happiness, love and peace, where we get endless opportunities to be delighted. So hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Kirkham, and I've been a scholar of the law of attraction and energy and vibration for such a long time, probably almost 30 years. And yet I still struggle to leverage this innate power in a conscious way. Now, I say in a conscious way because we're always leveraging this power. We're just not always conscious of it. So we get to create and manifest, and then we're surprised when something unwanted appears in our life. This video is all about taking back your power. And I'm making the video not because I want you to feel bad that you're maybe manifesting unwanted things in your life, or that I think that I'm perfect at intentional manifesting. But no, I'm making this because I think it's such an important topic, and I want to share with you what I've learned on my journey. And the goal is for as many people as possible to live happy and fulfilled lives. I want abundance in all the areas of your life that are important to you. I want abundance for myself, and I want that for you. Now, in full transparency, I wouldn't class myself as a law of attraction expert, a law of attraction teacher or coach. I'm just a person who's exploring energy and vibration, and that the impacts that can have both on the manifestation of what's wanted and not wanted. I'm on the front line of this physical existence, just like you. And just like you, I'm awakening and I'm emerging. And my desire for a better tomorrow for the world is strong. And I think if I can just help one person with this video, then I've made a difference. And that's why I'm doing it. So over the years, I've learned from many law of attraction teachers. So from some books or podcasts, videos, and in-person sessions. I've learned from some amazing teachers, and if I'm honest, some not so amazing ones. And I haven't felt aligned to everybody's take on what law of attraction is. But the ones that I have, I still learn from today. So people like Esther Hicks, and she channels the collective consciousness known as Abraham. Now, Abraham is and remains my go-to mentor and coach on the law of attraction. I've taken what has resonated for me as I've been learning, and I've put it to action in my life. And I've transformed parts of it, and yet other parts remain unchanged. Or, should I say, those aspects of my vibration remain unchanged. And despite what I know and what I believe to be true in all my heart, there are parts of me that I find it difficult to shift. So I'm work in progress. Life's a journey, right? Now, in my videos, I often say, take what resonates and leave the rest. Find your own truth. And I invite you to do the same with this video. If something I say feels right, put it into action, run with it, make the changes that inspire you. And if this video reminds you of the things that aren't right in your life, or causes you not to feel excited to make the change, maybe feel fearful or ashamed, stop watching. I empower you to turn it off and find something that you can be inspired about. So it's a short video, but these are the things that I get stuck in. They're the behaviours that trip me up, and some of the strategies that I have in place to help me. Now, fair warning, I'm going to be referencing Esther Hicks, so be prepared for my clumsy interpretation because it'll often fall short of their brilliant words. And talking about words matter. Whether these are the conversations that we have in our head about something or the conversations we have out loud with another person, they matter. They matter more than you might think. Words are a manifestation of a thought. They carry energy and a frequency. Now, words are so powerful. Esoteric practitioners for millennia have used incantations in their magic. Indeed, the very act of casting a spell tells us that language and words are central to the desired manifestation. Even the word spell, it derives from an old English word which translates as to mean or to sign. And ancient wisdom cultures across the world, they chant sacred words repeatedly. They know that they have power. Now, Esther Hicks says, you can get where you want to be from wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you're starting. But in order to do that, you've got to stop spending so much time noticing and talking about what you don't like about where you are. So let me say that again. You can get to where you want to be from wherever you are. But you must stop spending so much time noticing and talking about what you do not like about where you are. So, translated, when we talk about how it is from a place of noticing all of the things that we don't want, or we're frustrated, sad or mad or angry about, we're never going to realize the life we want. In fact, we create more opportunities to receive the things that we don't want. I hope you find that as powerful as I do. We can literally talk ourselves into a better life experience. Now, I invite you to spend a moment or two reviewing the balance of your conversations. Now, these conversations can be in your head about something that's going on for you, or they could be the ones that you have out loud with others. And on balance, do you think that these conversations are more positive in nature or not? Or can you spot a pattern that may be contributing to where you are now? That review is really important, because the less positive conversations that we have, they tend to be about the things that we're not happy with or that we anticipate not going right in our lives. And the result for me when I engage in those conversations, whether they're in my head or whether they're out loud with others, is that I feel worse. I feel hopeless and frustrated and mad and angry and sad. And in those moments, I give away my power. I forget that I'm powerful enough to change my reality. And if I can change my story and create a new narrative, I get to feel relief. Telling a more positive story makes me feel better. And in feeling better, I regain my power. I choose a different outcome. And the more that I can tell the new story, the more likely it is to manifest around me. Now, I know that it probably sounds simplistic, maybe even a little naive. I'm fooling myself into believing a lie. But am I? What's reality anyway? So I want to share with you a real example, and it comes from one of my coaching clients. I've been working with her for some months now. Now, she hadn't previously been interested in anything to do with metaphysical or spirituality and energy work, anything that I do around that, or the principles I believe in. It wasn't that she didn't believe them, they just were not a part of her focus. But she came to me at a time in her life when things felt very dark for her. And she randomly watched one of my videos. It was the one that I posted on being empathic. And in that, she saw a glimmer of light. Perhaps this provided some insight for her into why the world was such a harsh place for her. Now, not wanting to put her off, I had to tread a little bit carefully in terms of how woo-woo I went. So I found a language that she was comfortable with and slowly introduced her to the concepts that stretched her. Now, some of these she embraced and others not so much. Now, recently, we've been working on her narrative. And in my observer role, I'm keenly aware of the story that she's telling herself. And I'm able to bring this into focus and to share with her my thoughts and understanding of the power of words. And during our last session, I asked her to try and tell a different story about a situation, because the story that she was running left her feeling anxious and in fear of what was to come. So we gently tried on a few new different ways to view it. A couple of different words here and there, a few more positive phrases, not too over the top, but something a little bit more positive overall. Now, like magic, her emotions turned from feelings of anxiousness and fear to ones of much calmer and, dare I say it, even a bit hopeful. And her whole demeanour changed, her face lightened, and I could feel the energy shift even though we were thousands of miles apart and we were on Zoom. I felt her relief. And that, my friends, is the goal. How do I have better feeling thoughts? I have a choice. I can continue to dialogue about what's wrong or unwanted, or I can dialogue about how it would be if it wasn't. Now, Esther Hicks and Abraham have many techniques that they share about how to do this. One of those is playing the wouldn't it be nice game. Wouldn't it be nice if, fill in the blanks, or even though my finances are not what I want for a comfortable life, I'm looking forward to a time when I feel I have what I need. These are statements that can take us to a better feeling place. And in that moment, our vibration shifts. Over the years, I've found that I'm able to spot a lot easier when I'm being negative. Now, don't get me wrong, to this day, I still do engage in negative self-talk or have discussions with others about how bad something is. However, I can see it when it rears its ugly head, and I get a choice to take action to address it. And I've decided that I don't like feeling the way I do when I'm engaged in this negative talk. Esther and Abraham would say that any negative emotion is caused by a disagreement between ourselves and our higher selves. It's like a dissonance between the two. And that makes a lot of sense to me. Now, if you have people in your life that can be that objective observer like I was, where they can let you know when they see that you're engaged in this negative conversation, it can be so helpful to have them around. They can gently and with loving intentions let you know so that you have the opportunity to change it. Now, let's talk about our emotions. And I think one of the biggest aha moments I had in my studies was this, and it came from Esther Hicks, and it was a recording that I was listening to many years ago. And she said, "Your emotions are your guidance system." This really, really resonated with me as I was thinking to myself at the time, how can I possibly control all of the thoughts that I have? And lo and behold, I manifested an answer. So by paying attention to how I was feeling, I'd be able to identify if I'm thinking something more negative than positive. It's pretty clever. And I found that the most potent conversations that I have are the ones that I'm in fear or I'm triggered for something about, not wanted in my life. And we create these false narratives about what we think is going on. We look at those unwanted things and we think about them, we talk about them, and I don't know about you, but I seem to be able to put a whole lot of energy and passion into those conversations. So paying attention to how we feel is pretty key in alerting ourselves early on that we're thinking about something that really does not serve us. And that way we can get ahead of ourselves. Maybe we can get ahead of ourselves enough that we don't engage in those negative conversations for very long. The goal really is to feel happy, and that's not a lot to ask about life. when we catch ourselves in that tailspin of negative emotions, how do we snap ourselves out of it? Well, the best way that I've found is to divert myself. I find something that makes me feel happy. So this could be a funny movie, maybe it's thinking of a loved one, putting on some happy and uplifting music, stroking the dog. It really is about doing something that's going to change the way that you feel. Now, one of the most powerful techniques that I've come across, and one that I still use today, is one called Ho'oponopono. You might have heard of it. It's based on an ancient Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness. And in the version that I was taught, we're forgiving and we're reconciling with our higher self. We get to accept responsibility for the situation. We get to forgive ourselves and let go, transmuting the energy. And it's been a game changer for me. At its most simplest form, it's repeating four phrases. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. I love you connects to your divine self. I'm sorry is about accepting your part. Please forgive me is the transmutation, and thank you, well, it's done. And you know it and you feel it. I will link some resources below about this process if this is something that you're interested in knowing a little bit more about. But at the very least, just dive in, and whenever you feel faced with something unwanted, repeat after me. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. And do that over and over again until you feel relief. So I didn't want this video to be too long, just a few areas in my life that I'm work in progress with and the strategies that I have in place to help me. Please do give them a go and take your power back. You deserve only the best. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing to my channel. My message is simple. Let's all live an intuitive and abundant life. Together, well, we can build a community and we can spread the love. And you play an important part in that. So ta-ta for now.